You're listening to KEXP. We're at 90.3 FM in Seattle and streaming worldwide at kexp.org. I'm Cheryl Waters and very happy to welcome our good friend Courtney Barnett and her band back to the KEXP studios. And it is wonderful to see you here. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's so nice to be back.
We just love having you here. You look amazing. The new album, Things Take Time, so beautiful. And you're going to play some songs for us today.
Yeah, we are.
All right, it's Courtney Barnett live on KEXP.
Pay
Oh, what a day. And congrats on the keys to your place. You've escaped the rat race, as they say. Now you're settling in for the stay. Anyway, you got a blank slate to renovate. Take it all. Yeah, you reap what you sow, and so it goes. What you put in the ground comes around when you don't really know what you're missing at all. In a daze, I can picture you whittling away with such care, with such patience and grace. And I smile when you say that you'll build me a table one day. Well, I'd be so grateful. Sometimes it's hard. Getting lost, you say, is a fine art. Put the map down and follow the stars. Shall we leave? Are you sure? Let me grab my bag. We can sneak out through the side door. In the dark, are you scared? Did you hear those dogs bark? Do you ever wonder what sets you apart? Shine the torch on the path, darling. Please don't let go of my arm. When you sleep, are you warm? Can you feel my cold feet? Are you good? Are you making ends meet? At the end of the day, you're awake with your thoughts, and I don't want you to be alone. And I don't want you to be alone. Yeah, I don't want you to be alone. And I don't want you to be alone. Before you gotta go, 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 I wanted you to know, no, 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 you're always on my mind. You're always on my mind. If something were to happen, my dear, I wouldn't want the last words you hear to be unkind, to be unkind. We got angry, said some careless things. Who was wrong remains unclear. Pride like poison
Courtney Barnett live here in the KEXP studios. Songs from the new album, Things Take Time, Take Time. Oh, that was amazing.
Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you so much. Oh, Courtney, it is so fun to watch you and Bones and Stella play together. There's clearly a lot of joy among you, looking at you, smiling at each other when you do certain parts of certain songs, and who knows what's going through your mind. But it's just really fun. I think of the long and fruitful friendship that you've had, certainly with Bones, and I know you and Stella have known each other a while, and it just must be great to be making music back out on the road after such a long break.
Oh, completely. I think especially given the last few years, I think there's a whole new world and level of gratitude and joy that comes with doing what we do.
Well, you were living by yourself, I understand, for the very first time when you were writing Things Take Time, Take Time. And that's an intense experience that different people experience in different ways. Would you say that you're a fan of living alone now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I guess it's one of those things that I somehow avoided over my life of, and I think it was good. It was like a confronting experience, but that's a good thing.
You spent quite a bit of time, maybe more than in the past, with these songs in demo form before you went into the studio to record them, and that was due to the COVID-19 lockdown. How did that extended process affect the final form of the songs, would you say?
Yeah, I think it just allowed the songs to grow and change a little bit in different ways, and just like when I guess this time around I ended up recording many different versions of the same songs, and like in different styles and different tempos and totally different energies and moods, and I think it's just it really helps. It helps me when I get stuck to kind of change direction, and I think that the endless demoing kind of helped in that sense.
I was delighted to see that you worked with Stella in recording this album. I think maybe she even produced it with you. Mm-hmm. And her influence is felt throughout the entire record. Tell me about working together. What was that collaboration like?
Yeah, it was great. It was, I think since we did we worked together on the Lot of Sea Lice album in whatever the year that was, 2017, 16. And then since then, I wanted to work with Stella again, and so it just kind of everything lined up in the last 2 years ago when we kind of started doing the project, and it was just a really fun kind of different experience, and it was just the two of us in the studio, and
This record goes a little bit back to your first early records where you recorded the vocals at home, so you had to be very quiet, I understand, mm-hmm. because you were living in a place where there were neighbors nearby, which is sort of comical to think about. But how did it feel recording in that original format, like you kind of went back to your early days?
Yeah, I mean, we did a bunch of tracking in a studio in Sydney, and then but then a lot of the other bits were kind of done in kind of makeshift studios. So I did end up doing, we did a little bit of recording at my Rae Street flat in Melbourne, and definitely recorded some vocals in a closet, and which I'm sure, I feel like lots of radio people probably did as well, podcasters during COVID. But yeah, it was just a kind of mix and match.
Since you had to record those vocals on the demos so quietly because of being at home with neighbors, did you kind of think in your mind that perhaps when you went into the studio, you might get louder, and then you found you just really liked them like that? Because the album is much quieter.
Yeah, I think I've noticed like the progression of my albums. And I can see it, like those early ones, the early EPs have that softer energy, and I think it is to do with that. And then when I went into a studio where you can be as loud as you want to be, but then I think that sometimes it just loses something in the kind of in the delivery or the kind of closeness. And actually, that was something that when I was working with Stella on another project before we started on the album, that was something that she actually said, because I feel like I tend to sing louder than I need to by default, and it was she kind of suggested holding back. Maybe it was when we did the Sharon Van Etten cover, and holding back a little bit and just I think it just helps me kind of like see the song differently, feel the song differently.
Well, the guitars are different as well as the vocals on this record. You're such an adept guitar player, and you can really shred when you want to. There was a lot of distortion on the last album, but you're using the guitars in a different way on this record. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was, it's weird because the last Tell Me How You Really Feel is very guitar heavy, but I wrote a lot of that album on a piano. The song started out so different. And then ended up so different. And for this album, I guess I wrote the majority of it on an acoustic guitar. And I think it was just a little bit of experimentation, like when we went into the studio, just trying to find a few points of difference. And I feel myself on guitar going to a lot of the same kind of patterns and tricks. And so I would try to like put the guitar down for a whole song and just like sit at we had this nice little Wurlitzer in the studio or a piano, and just try to like approach the song from a different angle to see how it might influence the song. Because I guess not every song needs a whole lot of noisy guitar on it.
Well, I was hoping you'd play Turning Green, one of my favorite songs on the album, and you don't even play the guitar at the beginning, although, interestingly enough, it's the one where you're kind of ripping it up the most on the record. This is such a joyous record. It focuses on the beauty of life, I feel, even just the little things. And what drew you to joy during this extended period of loneliness and isolation that we were having?
I guess I think it was like maybe one extreme to another. Like I think that it started off kind of from another angle, and maybe I was just in a slightly darker place, and then through these songs kind of helped me process somehow out of that, and kind of like a bit of a turning point. And I think it was maybe that kind of process of like finding joy amongst that kind of sadness, or that that lower kind of energy, and trying to see all the good things in the world and in my life, and all the things I'm grateful for, and just so it's kind of it's a bit of a flip side of that.
Well, I was moved by the story around the song, Write a List of Things to Look Forward to, and it inspired me to do that. I kind of used to lay in bed and just do it in my mind, but I started making lists, actually, as a result of hearing that song. And, I mean, just like you've said in some interviews, a beautiful sunrise is something to be grateful for and to wake up to, and very much like you, I look forward to that first cup of coffee. It's a ritual, and it's something that I really wake up to and look forward to, and it brings me joy. And I was in Melbourne in 2017 for a few weeks, and I was surprised what a great coffee town that is, especially coming from Seattle. It definitely rivals us. And it made me wonder, what's your coffee of choice?
Melbourne does a good coffee, I must say. This morning I got a oat flat white.
Nice.
That was my today coffee.
Nice. I go for a little oatado myself.
Oh, nice.
A little cortado with oat milk. Well, you've been over here for a while. I think I heard you came to the States in September and have been spending some time in Joshua Tree. And I mention it because it's been on my list of places to go forever. And I'm actually going to be there this Thursday for the first time ever.
Cool.
So I'm excited to hear that it's a place that you're drawn to, and maybe even wrote some music there.
Yeah. I mean, I just have loved it since we first, Bones and I, we came for Coachella in 2014, maybe.
feels like a long time ago. And that was the first time I'd been there, and I just loved it. And so I've tried to get back there every chance I can, like at the end of a tour or whatever. And and I was there at the start of 2020 after my solo tour, and I wrote a few of these, like Sunfair Sundown, write a list of things to look forward to. I finished there. But yeah, a couple of songs on this album I wrote out there, so.
That's wonderful. You mentioned the Sharon cover that you did, and you are two of my favorite musicians in the world, and also two people I love very much. And Epic is one of my favorite records. Every song on that's beautiful, but you happen to actually cover my favorite song on that album. It's hard to pick just one. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was great. I mean, I love and adore Sharon as well, and so it was a real joy when she asked me to be part of that project. And it is always daunting, like really taking someone else's song and interpreting it. And but it was, at first I couldn't. There were like some weird chords or time signal or something, and I was on the phone to her and I was like, I can't figure this out. I don't think I'm the right person for it. And she was like, no, I believe in you. You have to, you'll get there. I know you'll do it. So with that like little boost of confidence, and then Stella and I went in the studio. We tracked that in Melbourne, and then got Vagabond to sing on it as well. So it was just a real special thing to be a part of.
It's absolutely beautiful, and as you mentioned, that Vagabond edition just takes it over the top.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, all three of you, for making time to stop by today. You've got a big show tonight at the Paramount with another one of my faves, Barty Strange. It should be incredible, and it's just wonderful to have you back here in the studios. Thank you for stopping by.
Oh, thank you so much. It was such a treat. Thank you.
It's Courtney Barnett live on KEXP Seattle. Yay.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.